Ever wondered if maybe you had a bad boss? Are you giving them the benefit of the doubt too much? Workplace expert who heads up the Vested Group, Joel Patterson, is back with us today. Hey, Joel, thanks for doing this today.
Pleasure to be here. Good morning.
I think it's our natural progression to think, maybe it's just me, or maybe I'm oversensitive. But can you tell us a little bit, from your opinion, what constitutes a boss that should be considered bad?
Well, everybody knows people typically leave a boss. They don't necessarily leave a job. And it tends to, whenever you experience something like that, you don't forget about it ever, really. So, just a couple of things that really stand out. Your boss lies to you all the time, or is never, ever wrong. They blame you for mistakes, or we've all had a micromanager. I think the point is that knowing that you potentially have a bad boss out there, or if you're experiencing it now, there are options. And unfortunately, there are a lot of bad bosses out there. They get their job, and you wonder how, right? I mean, how did they ever get hired? How did they ever get promoted? Because all they're doing is being mean to you. But recognizing that, hey, they're out there. Don't let them ruin your life. You can try to change them, but more importantly, make sure that you're taking care of yourself and looking around for other opportunities if you just can't find solutions with them.
Yeah, I guess that's my next question is, where do you know where the line is between trying to change them, and is that even a thing, or going over their head, and is that ever advised? And when is it time just to say, you know what, I'm going to start looking for another gig?
Yeah, it's a tough one, and every situation is a little bit different. But first of all, make sure that you're communicating, even if it is a rough situation. Make sure that you're taking the time to communicate to them, so that if it doesn't work out, you've at least been on record as giving it a shot. Anticipate those problems before they get worse, because you probably at some point are going to be able to recognize, oh, this is about to happen. And here's one I really like to recommend to people: is just laugh a little bit. I mean, if you can try to bring some levity to the situation, as long as it doesn't make them more angry, oftentimes it'll lighten the mood a little bit.
I suppose at the end of the day, it's just a job, right? You should be focusing on other stuff in your life that's more important.
Yeah, it's so much easier said than done, though, right? I mean, work-life balance is a thing, but the problem with that idea is it makes one seem like it's good and the other is bad. And the reality is they mix, right? And so it's easy to say, well, I'm just going to keep my head down and do my job. But by the end of the day, the stress, the anger, whatever it might be, it's really tough to leave at home. And so I'd encourage you to do something about it.
What about offboarding or that exit meeting? I've witnessed somebody absolutely burn a bridge in front of a bunch of people, and it didn't end well for that person. So is there a fine line between trying to help when you're leaving and burning a bridge? This guy might be your boss again someday, right?
That's the best point right there. You never know when somebody's going to come back around. That's happened to me in my career many times. I mean, I'm 51 years old, and so I've been in the workplace for 25 years or so, and it's weird how many times somebody from 20 years ago all of a sudden pops back up into your life. And yeah, it's better not to scorch earth. Just go on, maybe give some productive feedback, but there's really no value in going out the door and screaming all the way.
Should you feel guilty about a job search while you're in another job? I mean, I guess technically you shouldn't be making phone calls when you're getting paid for one job, but what's the best advice to look for work while you have a job? And I always told my girls, don't quit a job till you have another one, right?
Absolutely. Take a day off. Take some PTO in order to do your interview. Don't be too sneaky about it, because at some point they're going to find out. And you want again, going back to what we were just talking about, you don't want to scorch earth. You want to give a good peace of mind on your way out the door, and you also want to make sure that you potentially have a reference at that company.
Yeah, absolutely. Always good stuff. He heads up the Vested Group. Workplace expert Joel Patterson, thank you so much for your time today.